what's really going on. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency, going to be taking a look at XRP, Ripple, against US dollar tether on the Binance chart. Going to be taking a look at the technical aspects of price action moving forward here. We're going to be assessing this kind of very crazy rejection from this kind of new swing high off of kind of $1.96 there, just below $2. We're seeing a very significant sell-off as kind of the whole market seems to be selling off, but XRP seems to be trying to recover. These dips are being brought up quite heavily, but the bearish momentum is still kind of pushing it downward. And so we're going to be assessing where we might seem to find support and where we could hold in the kind of short term. That will kind of make us more kind of short-term bullish, perhaps long-term bullish. But now jumping into it, let's recap this kind of previous kind of price action real quick along this kind of ascending trend line. Started in the COVID crash back in March. We have, prices interacting kind of up and downward, kind of, all throughout it. It did begin to, regain significance kind of back in the beginning of February and all throughout kind of March and beginning of April as we kind of were seeing resistance under it. But we inevitably found support above, suggesting the break upward. And now here we are rallying, hundreds of percentages in a matter of days. So we have, 240% in kind of 2 weeks if you're buying, around 56 cents, under 56 cents. And so, I mean, this definitely seems to be a key take profit level as traders are selling off, taking profits. They've doubled, tripled their money. And so this is definitely a very aggressive sell-off. And so as I said earlier, the whole market seems to be selling off. Bitcoin seems to be going through a bit of an episode at the moment, and so the entire market seems to be in a bit of a sell-off, but the overall bullishness of XRP does seem to be present still, with these wicks getting bought up very quickly. So we could very well see price action kind of trade in these levels for a period of time before kind of breaking out, as we do have a history of kind of prolonged kind of sideways before making a dramatic move. So I mean, we have 28 days of sideways before kind of breaking downward after the multi-hundred kind of percent pump. Then we have the 37 days of sideways before working upward, and then a good kind of 63 days of sideways before kind of breaking upward. And so we could very easily perhaps expect that it is not impossible to see another 20 to 40 days of sideways if we were to kind of look to find support kind of along these levels. I mean, we could be way more short-term bullish if we were to find support kind of where we are and we were to start closing above this kind of key range that I've kind of drawn out here, above $1.06 and under kind of $1.14. If we were to start closing kind of within and then above, I would be more short-term bullish. If we were to start coming up and print a higher high, then we could be way more kind of short-term bullish, and the the uptrend is more likely to continue. Although if we were to see a projection, say even if we do still find support kind of where we are, we were to come right back up and we were to print a lower high off of kind of the $1.95 there, and kind of close at a kind of lower price level than the previous swing high there back in kind of April, beginning of April 14th there, then we could very easily kind of come right back down to where we are, find support up just above $1. I believe finding support along $1 would be very long-term bullish. But if we were to start closing below, back where this kind of wick has taken us, kind of like sub dollar level, kind of 91 cents there. This wick got as low as 89 cents just today. So I mean, it's been bought up. There's tons of buy pressure, sub $1, but we could very easily come into the dollar there and kind of trade just under $1 to try to find $1. If we fail to, we could easily see the kind of sub dollar there, into 70 cents, and kind of traded these kind of round levels. I do believe we can find support at kind of like the 75 cents. That's why I think the dollar level is going to be significant. Failing to hold $1 kind of bring us around, I guess, like 80 cents there. We got price action around 80 to kind of 90 cents, and so the dollar, I think, is going to be the key level. But, whole lot of buts. We throw on EngineeringRobo. We have a new perspective kind of come into play here. And so, with these sort of sell suggestions present, we can kind of have a new perspective, and we can sort of get a kind of better idea of what could occur here. We have the buy for moon and bull signal back at the end of January of 2021 to kind of support the kind of bullish momentum and pump there. Sell for to return, but the moon was still supporting it and bull signal. So during the sell for, we were sideways below this ascending trend line that was back in the COVID crash. Then we had this buy for and bull to come back, supporting the upward breakout. As we started closing more and more above this ascending trend line that was supported back in the COVID crash, we very quickly broke through significant resistance above 63 cents there, 62 cents, and just under 78 cents. We flew right through it all the way up to 92 cents, getting rejected off of just under $1, coming all the way down to kind of 79 cents. And so after taking a brief kind of pit stop just under $1 and between 91 cents there, we eventually found support along $1, like the very tight range of $1. Skyrocketed all the way up to $1.95, and now we seem to be seeing this big sell-off. And so we have, since the beginning of the month, a good 261% in kind of 13 days there, kind of 2 weeks just about. And so that's easily double, triple your money kind of thing. So plenty of traders are going to be taking profit. We have this sell for returning, suggesting some bearish pressure, bearish momentum, and some sideways or downside could occur. We are in from the swing high. We've seen kind of a 54% sort of kind of pullback. We're now kind of 40% down from the swing high, and so we could very well see some kind of more downward movement if we start closing kind of closer toward $1 here. I feel like we could easily kind of get toward $1 pretty quickly. If we start closing below this kind of purple range, we can kind of come down to the 90-cent level, where I do believe we could find support in the kind of midterm here in the next kind of few weeks, the following kind of few weeks. If we were to find support along here, that would be much more healthy and gradual for XRP rather than just kind of shooting up. Now, although if we were to find support kind of where we are, come up and print a lower high, that would be kind of more long-term bearish in my opinion. But there's tons going on in crypto. They're still very bullish. These dips are very bullish, being bought up very quickly. There's tons of buy pressure in these wicks, but we have signals like that flashing throughout the day. We have that hell flashing throughout the candle. The candle has not closed yet. There's still however many hours left in the day, and so we have not confirmed that hell signal, but it does want to says want to close. There is tons of sell pressure present as the whole market is selling off. When we consider the price of XRP against the relative price of the good old volatile Bitcoin, we see just as kind of similar volatile price action and projection off of the kind of 3053 Satoshi level there, under my significant kind of resistance line. We seem to be closing under another resistance around 2263 Satoshi. If we start closing below there, we could expect to perhaps interact with the next support around 1531 Satoshi. And so, I mean, now there's definitely some key levels that we need to be kind of looking out for, that we can hopefully find support, as Bitcoin kind of still continues to throw its tantrum and do the bed. We have to be cautious of kind of what's going on. And so, I mean, if we get rejected off of the 2273 level there, we can very quickly kind of come down to these kind of lower ranges and find support along these levels. Although, if we were to get kind of bought up right kind of where we are now, and the dip gets bought up quick, we can kind of very easily interact with this. What I do believe will be the next kind of resistance that will kind of be, we'll spend kind of a couple days kind of closing, opening and closing kind of around, up or above, to determine kind of where we're going. If we don't just blast like right through it and start creating like a higher high kind of thing. When we turn on EngineeringRobo, we see a new perspective come into play here, and so we have the buy for moon all coming into play before the pump back in end of March, beginning of April kind of thing. We rallied a good tens of percentages, 200% in 11 days there. There's a good old pump against Bitcoin, closing above the 200 moving average, interacting with these Fibonacci levels quite nicely. Although we have this sell to closing now, yesterday, and so I mean, if you were to trade just from the buy to the sell to alone, you would have made 148% in 33 days. And so I mean, that alone is still decent. These are still very key take profit levels, and there's going to be plenty of traders taking profit at these levels, and there's never nothing wrong with taking profits. It's never a bad thing to take profits, and so now when we consider say the price of Bitcoin against US dollar tether, we have a kind of new perspective kind of come into play here, and we have tons going on this chart. And so along with these fettuccine lines that I will let draw here, we have we continue to fall, sell for hell as we plummet to the depths below. We've wicked into the 40s here, 47K. We've gotten as low as today, but we've bounced very strong bounce, very powerful bullish presence from Bitcoin in the long term. We can very much see some support along 50K very quickly before we look to a test 57K again. But if we fail to 50K kind of where we are, then I do believe we can start closing back into the 40s and kind of interact with the 40s again. But if we fail to hold this kind of 48K level, I think we could very quickly see the low 40K level. We could very quickly kind of plummet very quickly down to the low 40s, 43 there. Hopefully we can close a higher low above 43K there. But I do believe this is a zone that we're going to slip right through. There's a big 10K drop pending if we fail to hold kind of high 40Ks there, 48K in my opinion. When we turn on the fear and FOMO zone, we see kind of a still FOMO zone all the way up there at 83K now. It's still rising. FOMO zone's still rising. I do believe we're going to interact with the FOMO zone very soon. Very soon, I do believe within the next kind of following weeks, the following months kind of thing, and not within the next few days. Perhaps, you never know, realistically, at this point. But some sideways, some reaccumulation, some healthy buying opportunities is kind of very necessary, very needed for Bitcoin at the moment. And so, the more we trade sideways, I believe the more long-term bullish we could be, and the longer we find support at these kind of key round levels. 50K seems to be our next kind of key round level there, psychological round level there that we need to find support at before we can kind of take off again. But I do believe in the long term we're still ever so bullish, and we're going to be seeing all-time highs very quickly. If we consider XRP against the price of US dollar yet again, on the Binance chart, we kind of see a new perspective when we consider the fear and FOMO zone as well. If I turn off kind of these other indicators temporarily, we have the FOMO zone all the way up there above kind of $51.59 kind of thing. We got all the way up there to $1.95, so we're in the FOMO zone for a couple days before getting rejected. And so, I mean, that's kind of the one of the two kind of things that could happen in the FOMO zone. We could either see a bunch of FOMO, tops or bot, and we skyrocket. But the other kind of option is that we get a kind of big rejection, and we kind of get some sideways kind of just below it and whatnot. Sometimes we trade more in a bearish manner. But I do suspect that we can kind of interact with the FOMO zone in the near future here kind of very quickly. Per hint, what we can hope to be a higher high. If it is a lower high, we need to reassess the scenario and get a new analysis. But if we print a lower high, like I said, we could be kind of more short-term bearish. Higher high, we could be more short-term bullish again. But, lots of buts. Watch out for momentum changes. Watch out for EngineeringRobo's buy and sell signals. Check out all the social media down below. Subscribe here on YouTube. Try EngineeringRobo, free, link in the description, and tune in for the next one.